Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 17 and welcome back to Dolnośląska Wieś, Poland. So I did skip ahead a couple days. It's the third day of summer and we're doing 6-day seasons now. So it is actually the middle third of summer. Man, this is a beautiful wheat texture. Custom textures for crops on this map. I think that is fantastic. I love it. How do you even do that, man? As a map maker, as a mod maker, how do you... You know what I mean? I mean, if you look at the file, if you look at the texture files, it's just a kind of a sheet of images, a PNG, and each of them represents a different angle of the crop. Because this is basically just a series of flat images, which also kind of amazes me. Like, look at this. That waving wheat field is just a bunch of flat PNG images. Man, gaming, it's fantastic. Although right there you saw how flat they are. Right, look at this one right here. You can see the flatness. That guy right there. All right. They're not all perfect. So, harvest time. And when you look up at our season's forecast, up in the top right corner, you see that it is about to rain. So let's get started. We have got our Rostselmash. Am I saying that right? Rostselmash? This is our Neva combine harvester. I've never used this mod before. It's got a relatively small tank, so let's see how it goes. How do we even get in this thing? Right here, I suppose. Now, I did pull this down here and just kind of park it, and I wouldn't typically leave it parked there for more than a moment. So, let's lift this header up. Take the brake off. We're going to very carefully cross the highway, and I think we're jumping in right there on that corner in the combine harvester. It's at about our 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock to clip through the wall. Oh, game. That was my fault, though. That's nothing to do with the game. Okay, they say pull out. We're doing it. We're pulling out. So let's get across the highway here. Let's get her opened up. Nope, this one doesn't open. Nothing's changing on top. Okay, so we're going to fire it up. Set the cruise control, and it's got a max speed of 20 kilometers an hour, so I'm guessing it's got a harvesting speed that's also pretty slow. We do not want to make a straw swath. For the first couple headlands. Alright, don't hit the 300 series. Yep. We do not want to make a straw swath quite yet until we've got a little room to work. And then we will bale that up. We're going to need straw for our pigs. Although we only have a few. We only have 9 pigs right now. So we don't need straw right away because we bought 8 bales down at the store. Right. We're rolling. So it's Tuesday for you. It's Monday for me. And I think it's going to be a pretty good gaming week. I saw a few things. I did an ETS video, which I posted yesterday. Today for me, Monday. Yesterday for you, Monday. But I posted an ETS video. Now, ETS, as you know, patched up to 1.34, but I'm not running 1.34 yet because ProMods has not patched up to 1.34 yet, except it has, and it literally did it. Literally, yeah. I did the video, I said it hasn't patched up yet, I haven't got a notification. I finished the video, I put it into render, and not 5 minutes later, I got the notification that ProMods 2.33 compatible with ETS 1.34 had been released. Okay, fantastic. However, we're not going to use it until we finish our trip up to Kokkola, Finland, and the reason is if I activated 1.34 with the new ProMods, it would bump us back to Reims in France. We would not be able to finish our trip. So we're going to do one more video in 1.33, and then we will move to 1.34 with the 2.33 ProMods patch, right? Good to go there. And we're also going to take Frosty out for a couple reasons. One is it's getting close to the end of winter. It's getting close to the end of February, which to me is the end of winter. And I also don't know if Frosty in its current patch is compatible with 1.34. So it's a good reason to pull Frosty out. Several good reasons. But then we will jump into 1.34. As far as I know, on the ETS side, it doesn't do a whole lot. It just adds a MAN TGX Euro 6 truck, and it tightens up some scenery. Now, on the ATS side, 1.34 adds ownable logging trailers and a bunch of roads. So a little bit more comprehensive on the ATS side. Lift the header. Let's get her backed up and take another swing at it. I am going to, I know I could go straight right across there and into that next field, but I'm feeling like I want to keep these fields separate as we're bringing them in. I don't know why. So that's what's going on in Truck Sim World. Now, in Train Sim World, there is a new DLC coming out, I believe, Thursday, and I will have a video for that for you on either Thursday or Friday, as quickly as I can get in there and get it going. Now, here's the thing that's a little funny. It's a little funny, I'll tell you. The locos that are in this DLC, it's a German DLC, a German route. And the locos that are in it are the same locos from the Rostselmash DLC. And there's already chatter. There's comments. There's some hate. So I'm gonna dovetail this. I'm gonna bring it all around, full circle, as I try to do. So when I started the channel, I said, you know, I'm gonna try to be. Beg your pardon? Okay, that's my 80% warning. So when I started the channel, I decided I was going to be positive. I made a commitment to being positive. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. But then, just a couple days ago, yesterday in fact, that ETS video that I did, I was speculating, I was wondering, considering the possibility that in gaming, the only reviews that you can trust are negative reviews. Because with a negative review, right, the things that the person is pointing out to you are things that you can see for yourself if you get the game. On the positive side, it's a little trickier. And I wouldn't say that you never know, but like you see somebody playing a new game, a game that has not been released yet, and they're having no problems. Can we make it? Like, oh God, we can't make it the last, what is that, about 10 feet? Oh, game, I love you. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna have to crush that crop, but let us hop out and run over and open the cover on this thing. Now, where are we gonna put this? Because as it stands, okay, I guess we could run, yeah, that'll work out. We can run the combine harvester down the right side of this tipper, which will be the right side for the pipe. Yeah, okay. So let's just open that. I'll back out and run over here. And we're just going to crush a little bit of crop right on the end, and that's just how it has to be. So you can see somebody playing a pre-release game. Hey, you know, somebody sent this over to me. EA sent this over to me. Square Enix sent this over to me. Whoever. Ubisoft sent this over to me, and I'm playing it for you. And look, it's beautiful. Right? And it is. But then another reviewer plays that game, and it's just nothing but problems. And you think, well, you know, one of them is right and one of them is wrong. Which? And the thing is, you know, the person who is having problems seems, how do I want to say this? All right. Then nothing happened. Are we on manual No. No. Are we on manual unload here? Manual pipe unloading off. We are. Fantastic. There it goes. So you see what I'm saying. The good review could be, that person could be incentivized. And when I say incentivized, I'm talking about money. I'm talking about paid. Dollar bill, y'all. That person could have been paid to spend a lot of time putting together a video that only makes that game look good. Now, could the person who gives the negative review equally have been incentivized, right? And we're getting a little conspiracy theory at that point, but could they have been equally incentivized by the competition, perhaps, to make that video look like trash? Yes, they could have. They totally could have. And I don't rule out that possibility. However, I think the difference is there's a lot of ways that a game cannot work, but there's only one way that a game can work. And when a game works, it just works. But when it does not work, you see what I'm getting at? You see what I'm saying? So I tend to trust negative reviews. And there's several. I won't name them because I don't want to get into a whole what do you call it? Hang on, let me lift this, and then we're gonna back up. I don't want to get into a whole, this person is reliable, that person can't be trusted. There are several reviewers, and there's actually a couple reviewers that I have to say are, from my perspective, I wouldn't say beyond reproach, but they're I'm searching for a word right now. That's why I'm pausing. Dead air. I'm looking for a word to describe them. I don't want to say unimpeachable, but yeah, they've got a great reputation for fairness and honesty and accuracy. And they test games, they test hardware, they test patches. They're just there's several of them. They're just super, super well known for being objective. More so even than magazines that give stars and all this. I talked about all this in the ETS video yesterday. So why am I mentioning all this? Well, I'll tell you. When I read chatter like that about DLC, and I finished Ghost Recon Wildlands yesterday. I played the final mission, and it was absolute trash. No spoiler alert, because the game is 2 years old, 3 years old? No spoiler alert, but it was absolute trash. After spending many, many hours completing all the build-up missions to the final mission. What a letdown, man. What an absolute piece of crap. And what was funny about it is, in the game, again, no spoiler alert here, but in the game, you're building up a reputation with these rebels as you're trying to take down this Bolivian drug cartel. And you gain resources, you do missions, and all of it is with the goal of building up your reputation and building up your relationship with these rebels, so when you need them, they come and fight with you, because there's only 4 of you. There's only 4 ghosts, and you're taking on an entire drug cartel. So you do this, and then the final mission, it turns out the rebels have been in cahoots with the cartel the whole time. They've just been playing you and using your help, right? Because you've been helping them. You've been doing missions for them. They were playing you. They were lying to you. And it turns out that they're actually on the side of the cartel. Well, you find this out after you go and talk to your boss who's been kidnapped. And literally, that's the trigger for the beginning of the final phase of the final mission. Well, no, I take that back. I guess no, it is the final phase. It is the final phase, because nothing happens after that you really participate in. It's just a cutscene. So the second that you talk to your boss, Karen Bowman, the building that you're in immediately starts getting mobbed by these rebels, who up until then have been really shitty fighters. They have really not been much good at all. They're sort of, you know what I'm saying? They're sort of lazy. They don't really get in there. Get in there, man. You got to get in there and fight. They don't really fight for you. They just kind of show up. They don't really do anything. Now suddenly it's like they're all on meth. They just can't fight enough. But they're fighting you. And they're mobbing, and they're swarming, and they're throwing cars off of cliffs at you. It's just ridiculous. So I got killed in the driveway of this house that I'm at. Because the chaos starts literally the second you talk to your boss. You get attacked by dozens of these NPCs. So I finally found the way to do it is I just stole an armored vehicle, parked it in the driveway before I went in and talked to Karen Bowman. I went in and talked to her. The swarm starts. You get outside, you get your armored vehicle. They're just basically light infantry, so they can't do anything against an armored vehicle. You drive across the map to this mausoleum where El Sueño is, and you're supposed to get out and fight your way up this long, long driveway, and you have 7 minutes to do it. Well, I figured, you know what, game, you're going to mess with me. I'll just mess with you. So I just drove the armored personnel carrier all the way up the steps of this mausoleum. It's probably, I don't know, a quarter of a mile, a half mile of actual distance. It would take quite a while to walk up there. or run, as the case may be, particularly if you were fighting a mob of NPCs. I just drove the armored vehicle all the way up the steps to the front door of the place, got out, walked across, and triggered the cutscene. So I'm saying it was a BS mission, and the way that I finally solved it was with a BS hack. And my thought was, you know what, Ubisoft, if you're gonna hate me, then I'll just hate you. If you're gonna give me a stupid mission, then I'm not gonna finish it properly. I'm just gonna finish it to be done with this foolishness. And so what's the point of all that? Why am I talking about Ghost Recon? Well, I'll tell you why. When I was reading the comments for this Train Sim World DLC, one of the comments that I saw over and over was clearly proof that Dovetail hates us and just wants our money. And when I was reading some of the reviews on Ghost Recon Wildlands, which I know it came out a few years ago, but if anything, to me that makes the reviews more accurate because trigger, did it switch back? What the hell? Manual pipe. Wow, that's interesting. Huh. Okay, I guess that resets. Overloading mode, manual. Wow. Okay, we got a lot of options here. So when I was reading the comments for Ghost Recon Wildlands, when I was reading like some of the threads and Reddit and various other things, like one of the things that you see over and over again is Ubisoft hates their customers, does not listen to them, does not care about them, and just wants their money. And that's kind of harsh, you know? But is it true? Is it accurate? And, you know, when I think about a company like Dovetail, Ubisoft is massive, you know? Where they say like 1,000 people worked on Ghost Recon Wildlands all over the world. And, you know, Assassin's Creed, 600, 800, 1,000 people working on these projects. Unbelievably big crews. And you look at a company like Dovetail, right? And you think, oh, they're significantly smaller. Now, they're not quite grassroots. They're not quite like a plucky little independent game developer. They're a pretty big company. And they've been doing this for a long, long time. And they've got the contract with FIA to do the official Formula One game, right? So that's pretty big. That's a pretty big operation. Does Dovetail hate us? Because when you read in the comments, people are like, we already have a couple German routes. We already have a couple US routes. We already have a couple UK routes. What about Japan? What about France? What about Brazil? Right? There's plenty of other places that you could do a railroad route. What about Steam? And the locos that you're using are ones that we've already bought, and yet this new DLC that's dropping Thursday is pretty much full price, even though, right? Because all you're really buying is the actual track and scenery. You already own the locos if you own the Rostselmash DLC. Does Dovetail hate us? What are they doing? And it's one of those things like, I mean, you cannot buy it. But when it comes to DLC, really? Can you not buy it? And I feel like, you know, if they release 2 or 3 of these at the same time, that's what you look at and say, well, I want this one. I don't want these two. But the way that they drop DLC, not just Dovetail, but I think a lot of developers, the way that they drop DLC, it's like, nah, I don't have to buy it, but I kind of do have to buy it. You know, they come out every couple of months, and I want it, you know? So, now Dovetail, in their previous, or, well, I guess it's still running, so you can't say previous. Yeah, you can say previous, because it's been out for a while. But in their previous Train Simulator franchise, they have released, yeah, I think they've legitimately released hundreds of official DLC. Because the thing is, if you've bought all of them, you own like $4,000 of DLC. But I don't know if anybody buys all of them, because they're pretty spread out, and I think everybody has a different type of railroad that they want to play on, and that's the only DLC you buy. But for the Train Sim World franchise, which is fairly recent, it's only about a year old, a year and a half old, there's only like 8 DLC, 6 or 8 DLC, so at this point you could legitimately have all of them. I know I do. So they're not really optional, because we're still sort of craving them, if that makes sense. But I feel like I don't know if I'm explaining this right. It's like it's not really an option to buy them. Like, they know you're going to get it, even if it's not really too cool. And this thing with the locos, I look at that and I think, that's kind of not cool, man. I mean, I would think if anything, the DLC would be like 12 or 18 bucks, since a big chunk of it is stuff that you already own, which is the locos, which are, I have to say, I mean, that's a pretty comprehensive thing to model, both the 3D modeling and the actual like behavior of it, you know, what it does, the physics of it and everything. I know scenery is a big deal, but yeah. Now, I did see a comment that said, when are you going to re-release the editor so I can start making my own routes and stop buying your shitty DLC? Ooh, sick burn. That's a good point. You know, Giants releases their editor straight away so you can start making DLC content. Not DLC content, mod content. You can start making mod content right away. Okay. So apparently Dovetail is not doing that for Train Sim World. You know, but it got me thinking, all of it, you know, put together, it kind of got me thinking, I wouldn't say these developers hate us. Of course they don't hate us. But is there a disconnect there that is, you know, you think of a company like Facebook. Facebook doesn't give a shit about its customers. They really don't. In fact, people that use Facebook, I don't have a Facebook account, I never have. But they say that people that use Facebook, the actual people that have Facebook accounts, they're not the customers. They are the product. The advertisers that manipulate you with ads based on what you do on Facebook, those are the customers. Those are the people that give Facebook money. So you are not Facebook's customer. You are its crop. And, you know, you can't really say that about game developing companies, because we are their customers. What? No. What the hell just happened? Easy, Pete. I'm falling apart here. I'm literally falling apart. So no, we pay money for these products. We are actually, and I am gonna, I know, I am gonna neaten this all up, but I'm having a bit of a struggle at the moment. Got some loose ends. We are the customers for products like this, but is a company like Dovetail any more? Oh man, what? There we go. Is a company like Dovetail, do they care about their customers or users any more than a company like Facebook or Google? You know, these companies don't care about us. They're using us. They're manipulating us. And they know it, and we know it, and they know that we're not going to stop using their products. Yeah, I've got an Android phone. I know it listens to me all the time. I know I can't turn that off. It's just the way it is, you know? So is a company like Dovetail or Giants, are they any different? Are they any more serious about taking care of their customers, or do they just not care? You know, do they just see us as dollar signs and nothing more? And if they can take advantage of us, if they can manipulate us, if they can trick us, do they think that's okay? And I don't know. I'm speculating, you know. And I guess now, you know, I'm down on cattle and crops. I'm really down on cattle and crops. I feel like they duped me for $100. Now, I will say this. I don't think they did it deliberately. I think their goal from the jump was to, I don't want to say this. I don't know this. This is entirely speculation on my part. But if I had to guess, I think the goal for cattle and crops from early days was really just to build the ultimate farm sim mod. And I think they realized, because they are farm sim modders, and I think they realized, no, it's going to have to be more comprehensive than that. We're literally going to have to create our own game. And they set about trying to do that. Good on them, man. I love an underdog. I love that kind of project. Good on them, man. And I loved the look of it, and I thought it had true potential, and I bought into it, and I paid them $100. You know, Kickstarter, gold sponsor, the whole deal. And we're good to go. Well, the game's never going to be done. I think most people accept that the game is never going to be done, and if it is done, it's going to be obsolete. But I believe that the Cattle and Crops crew, from the jump, had a very good intention, and they learned that making a video game is really hard. Now, they're certainly not the only people that have had that problem. There are actually YouTube videos where you can see like the most famous Kickstarter video game flameouts. It happens because creating a video game is super, super hard. Creating anything is super hard. Creating a video game is super hard. It just is. And I don't think, how do I want to say this? You know, I've have some background in project management. Project management is a handful. It really is. Project management for things that you've already done is a handful. Project management for something that you've never even done before is, I mean, you're getting into like startup territory. And the problem with the startup, and again, I know this from experience because I was part of a software startup. The thing about a startup at all is you're doing two things. And you may not have done either one of them before. The two things you're doing is you are creating a product, which you may or may not have ever done before at that level. And you are running a company, which you may or may not have ever done before at that level. And you're trying to do both at the same time, in real time, right? With somebody else's money. And you may or may not have them leaning over your shoulder screaming at you. So it really is hard to do. And for that reason, I give Cattle and Crops a little bit of latitude. Now, where I don't give them latitude is their forums are, you know, I think everybody can see what's going on. These are folks that had an anniversary for their early access. You may be doing it wrong. If your early access has been rolling for a year and the game isn't ready yet, if you're not even into like full beta, there could be problems. You know, that's not necessarily something that you want to be doing. That's like, you know, if you and your partner, if you and your spouse are celebrating, like, we've been in couples therapy for a year, congratulations. Maybe not. Maybe not, you know? Or if your kid has been, you know, in like a remedial reading class for a year. Woohoo! Maybe not. And that might not be something to celebrate. So, it's the same kind of deal. If you've been in early access that long, there could be problems. So yeah, I get it, you know, I do. But I believe there was good intent. And with a company like Dovetail or Ubisoft, right, or Electronic Arts, it really, is there good intent? Is there? I don't know if there is. I just don't know. So we're coming up on, yeah, it's 28 minutes. Let's go ahead and finish this off. We'll empty for one last time, and then I'll probably do a ton of this wheat off camera, and we'll pick up next week. Let's do some baling next week. We haven't baled in a long, long time. So this field right next to us here, field 33, I believe. Yeah, this big one right here. Let's go ahead and I'll cut a couple headlands on there with the chaff, and then I'll switch over to straw and make a ton of straw swath. Let me not hit the telephone mast here. Oh, look at that. Driving this little combine harvester like a two-door Honda. It's fantastic. So I will, I'll leave a bunch of straw swath, and next episode we'll get a baler going. What kind of baler would you have in Poland? Probably Klaas. Probably Klaas or Krona. Okay. Okay, cool. You know what? I don't... This is tricky. Because we've got, I don't know if we could afford a square baler on this farm. However, the bales that we bought, the bales that we currently have are square bales. Where are you at with that? How do you feel about having two kinds of bales? I don't know. I guess we could sell most of them. Yeah, that's a good point. We could sell most of them because we have straw, we have straw for days. We have way more straw than we need at the moment. It's not going to rot because we have it inside, but our pigs are not using a lot of straw right now, so we're okay there. And the reason I'm wondering is we have access to the Krona Ultima, right? Fantastic mod. So we could make round bales. You see what I'm saying? But I think we would probably rent that thing, would we not? Yeah, we would rent that thing. And there's no reason to rent it because the only feature we really, you know what I mean? It's expensive to rent the Ultima because it's super fancy. But what makes it super fancy is it has the wrapper built into it, and we're not going to wrap. So I'm saying if we are just going to be making round straw bales, we could rent the cheapest round baler available, which is not the Ultimate. Did I say that right? I think I did. I think that made perfect sense. I just used way too many words to do it. So, oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're getting around this telegraph mast, man. We are. So we'll rent, what's the other one? The big pack? I don't know. We'll rent either a Klaus or a Krona round baler. Not the Ultimate, because we don't need anything that big. And we will, we'll do a little round baling next time. Now, we've got our little Fendt 300 with front loader, so we can use that to load. We don't have a trailer. Not at the moment. Not at the moment. We don't have a trailer. Should we buy one? I wonder how many bales we could fit in the Unimog. Probably 3, I'm guessing, if that, because we'd have like 2, side to side, and then maybe 1 resting on top. So we could go 3. And looking at this field, we're probably going to get, I don't know, 18 or 20 bales out of there. I don't think we'd want to haul 18 or 20 bales 3 at a time. That's a lot of BS, if you ask me. So we'll probably rent a trailer. We'll rent one of those Flegel from the Flegel. Is it the DW pack? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, we'll rent one of those. Rent or buy? We can rent one for about 1,500 euro, I think, and we can buy one for about 25,000. Do we need to buy one at the moment? Is that anything that we would use enough to justify buying it right now? I don't think it is. So we'll rent for now. Okay. Next episode, yep, we'll rent a Flegel trailer, we'll bale, and yeah, that'll be cool. And this is working out to just about half an hour. Be a little over, but it's nice to finish a field. It is. Now, I realize I did not turn the straw swath on, and there's a specific reason I did that, and it's because this field is so kind of irregular. My swath would be all over the place. And because we're running the chopped straw mod, I couldn't remember the name of the chopped straw mod when we were on Coldborough Park. But because we're running chopped straw, this chaff that we're throwing down right now will count as fertilizer when we cultivate the field. So, we're saving a little bit of money on fertilizer. Are we saving as much on fertilizer as we would make from bales? Probably. Probably, because we're playing on the hard mode, our prices are pretty low. So I think, yeah, the amount of fertilizer that we will not have to spread on this field by value, by price, probably exceeds the maybe 5 or 6 bales that we would get out of it. Yeah, I think we did the right thing. I didn't tell you about that as I was doing it, but there was a method to my madness, as always. There always is. There almost always is. There sometimes is. I try to be a good fake farmer. I really do. Man, I love this game. I do. Right. One last little strip here. I think we're at 87%. I think this is all going to fit. Now, we do have that little chunk right there, but I'll do that off camera. Will I? Or do you want me to do it now? You want me to do it now? I'll do it now. I don't care. And I think, I'll tell you what, if I don't do all of it, because it looks like it's 2 passes, if I don't do all of it, I'll at least take 1 swing at it. Because we're going to be about 93%. Oh, we missed a little bit right there. Wow. Okay. So get this backed up. You know, I don't hate this. I don't hate this little combine. It is little. It really is. I think it's one of the smallest tanks I've ever seen. Just about 3,000 liters. That's a pretty small tank. But what can you do? What can you do? Right, so, okay, so I think if I go, let me try this. Let me go down the right side of this telegraph mast and get as much off here as I can, and we may be able to just come at it then from the other side and take the last little bit off there as well. You see what I'm, yeah, you see that? Could that work? Is that just crazy enough to work? It might be. It might be. Okay. I'm going to back it up. You know what? Let's do it this way. Now, I have a question. I was concentrating there. I have a question. There's a little bit over in that corner. I think there's a little bit, there's a couple little bits. Is that going to bug you? Is that going to bug you? Because I'll get it if it is. Moment. Concentrating. I'll get it. I will. But I don't know how you feel about that. I know some people, I've seen some comments in Farm Sim videos, and people are like, dude, you missed a spot. Bro, you missed a spot. You totally missed, right? Now, I think that's kind of realistic. You do miss a tiny little bit of crop here and there. But how much is acceptable? And how much is realistic? And how much is not realistic? You know what I mean? Like, a certain amount, I'm sure it's inevitable that you just miss a little bit of crop. But how much? How much is the question? And at what point is it like, no, dude, a real farmer would go get that? I don't know. I have to say, I'm kind of digging the manual unload. I wasn't at first, but now I kind of am. Pipe is out. Get these beacons turned off. They turn on at, I want to say they turn on at 80%. Little visual cue. Right, we'll bring this right in here. Like that. Set the brake. Here we go. We are unloading. And our, in fact, I can do it this way. I want to say we got about 12,000 in here. What did we unload 4 times? 4 times total? 12,000? 16,000. Looking like it's going to be 12,000. So we unloaded 3 times. Okay. Okay. No, 4 times because it's a 3,000 liter tank. We're right. Right back here. Is that a nice look? Is that a nice thumbnail? You can't really see that it's a combine harvester. There we go. That's a little better. That's a little better, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 17 from Dolnośląska Wieś, Poland, and we will see you next time. Take care now.